So you want to build your own still? Stick around. We have a nice and big old thermos. So this is thermally insulated, a nice thermos made out of stainless steel. We have an element, we have a voltage regulator, we have some copper tubing, and we have some elbows. So let's get building. Okay, let's get into the building process, guys and girls. What I need to be doing first is I need to be building my column. So I'm going for a column still. If you don't know what a column still is, stick around to the end where I explain the whole purpose of the column and how it works and all that other stuff. Just a quick couple of disclaimers before I get into this, guys, is I'm not a plumber. I am not an expert in soldering. I am not an electrician. I will be wiring my urn up to power. I'll be installing an element into it, but I'm no electrician. So everything I do, please check and make sure that you do it correctly, you do it safely. This is the way I do it. It's not necessarily the right way, it's just the way I do it. So let's get into it. First up, my column. So I've got a couple of pieces here of copper. These are 42 more pieces of copper. And I've got two elbows, and I've got my other two pieces, which you will see later on what I'm going to be doing with this. I'm just putting a little bit of fancy into my still. So let's get soldering. Couple important things when soldering, guys, is make sure that your pieces are nice and clean, and get some sandpaper and sand all the way around on the insides of all the fittings that you're going to be attaching. This will just give the flux and the solder and all that other stuff a nice area to bite onto. You don't have to get it perfectly sanded on the inside. Just a little bit of sanding will make a big difference. Okay, so what you would have just seen me do is I'm just trying to fit and get my sight chamber or sight glass little chamber that I've fixed up here all lined up. It's not 100% lined up yet and that type of stuff, but we'll work on it. We'll try and get it as straight as possible. Reason for this is just I want to be able to see as my reflux is working, as it drips down through my medium that I'm going to be putting in here. Just want to see that little reflux action. So two parts. Part one is it's able for me to see. The other part is I need to take this thing apart, and I had to make a cut somewhere. So instead of just having the head removed or whatever, I decided to do a removable piece in the center, and why not just make it glass so I can see through it. So yeah, this is my little sight glass window that I need to or that I just fashioned up here. Also just now I need to do my condenser, so I just need to measure what length condenser I'm going to be working with over here, and solder up this piece here, solder up that piece there, and solder in my condenser, and then we're done, guys. Then I can fit this to the pot and get that up to temperature. So like I said, stick around to the end where we will see this baby in action for the vinegar run. So we'll see the reflux in action, we'll see all the parts working and moving, and we'll also be checking for some leaks. So yeah, stick around while I solder up the rest of this. And remember, if you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, please hit that subscribe button down below. Thank you very much. Okay, so just measured the distance here. Need to work on about a 60 ml condenser. So if I look at this one here, this is just about 55. So I'm going to be working with this 55 ml condenser, and then I'll have a little spout out coming out the bottom here, giving me that extra little length so I can dip off. So yeah, this little spout will fit onto there. Okay, so welcome back. So we are getting into the final steps of this process. What I need to do now is connect the water. So the rough idea is I'm gonna elbow from there. I am going to T going up, so I have water running to my condenser part here for my reflux, and then I'm also going to put a tap in between the two here, and this tap will allow me to regulate the water going to my reflux at the top here. So it's kind of important that you should be able to control the amount of water or the amount of cooling that is going to your reflux part at the top here, so you can adjust how much reflux is happening and how much is vapor is coming through to your cooling side. So yeah, let's get to it and hope you enjoy. Okay, so the still is all set up, clean, ready, had its vinegar run. I put some marbles in the top there, tested for some leaks. I didn't get any leaks thus far. There was a couple of leaks, but we fixed them up, mostly on these pipes at the top there. If anybody has a tip on how to get these pipes to bend nicely so they don't kink as much as they do, then yeah, that would be a great tip to have. I've put the gaskets, the medical safe gaskets or the food safe gaskets in between here. We've put a tap on here to adjust the water flow to the top. The water comes in, it flows through the condenser, goes out, and that is watering the garden. This side here comes out of the top of that condenser, flows down, and it falls out at the bottom here. So I'll be running a little bit of apple mash that I made a couple of weeks ago. It's been standing in the fridge, so I'll be running some apple mash through this baby, and let's see what happens. My kids asked me to explain what I'm doing, so I thought I'll just record it and try and explain it in the simplest terms so they can understand. So this is Skylar, this is Zindane. So Skylar, Zindane, this is a still. So what happens is I've got liquid at the bottom here that contains alcohol. Alcohol boils at a lower temperature than what face is that? Okay, so alcohol boils at a lower temperature than your water does. So what happens is I've got an element at the bottom heating up the water that contains the alcohol. The alcohol then evaporates off first. It rises up this column here. It hits this little glass window there filled with marbles. It starts condensing and drops back down in the column again. And as it drops down, it heats up again and it turns back into vapor and it goes up. Then I have another condenser at the top there that's called reflux. So as that water now runs through this little pipes there, it cools down the top there and it condenses even more, dropping down. You can see the little drops dropping into the marbles. Can you see that? Okay, so every time that happens, the alcohol that comes out of the bottom here, okay, the ethanol that comes out of the bottom here is clean. Okay, the longer it takes to go up the column, the cleaner it is at the bottom here. Okay, so once it passes that point there, it goes around this bend, it's still steam, okay, or vapor. It then runs down the vapor here and it hits this condenser. So this condenser is attached to our garden hose. So that runs in here, the water runs around this small pipe in this thick pipe, cooling down the vapor, causing it to go back into a liquid form and then drop out at the bottom here, like you can see there. And that there is pure alcohol. Okay, cool.